Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Hi, this is Jackie Wright, and I'm with Live Talk at SFBFF. And we've got a great show for you today. No, this is not a religious organization, the San Francisco Black Film Festival, but I'm thinking with all the things that are going on with COVID-19 and the coronavirus pandemic around the world, I want the creator to really be over everything that I am doing. And so it is my honor today to be able to talk to a fantastic music producer, Grady L. Harris Jr. He joins us, and then also he has some wonderful friends that have joined him too. That is Rhonda, Brice, and Dewanna Dunn. So, hey guys, what's going on?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing fine. I'm blessed to have you guys on board.
Yes, we're glad to be here. We're glad to be here.
I see you have a number of things going on, and that you're actually you have your Facebook Live crew that's joining you from Facebook. So we appreciate that so very much. And everything. Yes. Yeah, that's awesome that you have that extra audience here. San Francisco Black Film Festival is about 22 years old, just to let everybody know. It was started by Ave Montague, who unfortunately passed in 2009, right after the inauguration of President Obama. She was working with KBLX at the time for that great Inauguration West program. So after that, her son, Callie O'Ray, and her daughter-in-law, Katera Crossley, took over the film festival, and they have been running it ever since, doing a fantastic job with very little resources. And so with that in mind, everybody, you should visit www.sfbff.org and make sure that you donate to the San Francisco Black Film Festival. We are doing everything this year virtually, so it's really exciting for us to be able to use the technology to meet with Grady Harris and his BFFs, as in Black Film Festival, Best Friends Forever. So we're so glad to have you guys as our friends and joining us and talking a little bit about music, because as everybody knows, music is really essential to a film. We wouldn't have film without music. And of course, we're talking about some videos and that sort of thing that you've done, Grady. But one of the first questions I'd like to ask is, are you from the Bay Area? And what's your background here?
Hey, Jackie. Glad to be here. Thanks for this opportunity. This is wonderful. On a beautiful day. I'm in Tracy, California, and the weather is just beautiful out here. It's gorgeous. And to answer that question, yes, I'm a native of the Bay Area, Oakland, California. However, it seems like everywhere I go, cross country, I've been to the Bahamas and everywhere, everyone always mistakes me for a Nigerian. They always approach me and say, Nigeria, Africa. And I'm like, no, Oakland, California, and they swear. So my roots are strong. So Oakland by way of Nigeria by way of Oakland.
Yeah. Yeah, we all know that life began in Africa, so we're all related. No matter what complexion, no matter what race we're all related in some way. So really appreciate your being here and sharing that. And speaking of, you've been in the Bay Area for a while. I just want to take a listen to something, and let's just see what you have to say about this as we get started here at the top of this show.
1450 KEST. That's Partners in Christ, Grady Harris, Rhonda, Brice, Dorothy Morrison, and a whole lot of people doing a good thing for Oakland. I hope that song will become a symbol in the Bay Area where people will understand people, because that's all it's about, is people understanding people.
Isn't that nice? That is great. Now you got the partners in Christ right here with Grady Harris Jr. and the partners in Christ. Come together. We are Oakland. And again, now that is an album that's new. It's new and it's out there available to you all around this Bay Area, wherever you are. San Jose, you can find this record here in Oakland, over here in San Francisco. We play it for you. The partners in Christ, come together. Let's come together. Let's come together. Isn't that great? And we can. You can. We can. We all can unite and make it strong. That's what it takes. Those young people are setting examples of coming together. And again, the partners in Christ and the new album, Let's Come Together. We are Oakland. You're tuned to KEST San Francisco at 1450.
Now that was actually from back in the day, the radio broadcasts and everything, and I just, you know, really appreciate listening to that a little bit as you heard and everything, because it kind of reminded me. I don't know if any of the audience out there, if raise your hand if you know about Columbus, Georgia. It reminded me of WOKS radio station back in the day when we had a lot of Black radio station back in that time.
Sure did.
So that was, things have changed, but there was that kind of sound. So tell me a little bit, Grady and friends, what that project was all about and the significance of it.
Oh my God, Jackie, that was my initiation into the whole record industry right there. That first recording, I was approached by actually Rhonda's
my dad.
Dad.
Yeah, he had an organization called Mission Save, Saving America from Evil, and his focus was the homeless. So he was way ahead of his time. This was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And we had a homeless shelter in Oakland on 55th Avenue.
And at the church.
At the church.
So that was about 1985, 86, 87, right in that?
Somewhere up in there. Somewhere up in there, yeah.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit after. Yeah, maybe a little bit after.
And he basically, Jackie, just saw folks sleeping on benches. This was right at the beginning of the homeless issue. Of course, now it's just off the hook, but this was at the beginning of that. He started seeing it, and so he started opening up this church, and it was a large facility. The church was like a warehouse, and so he was letting folks sleep in the back, letting families come in, and the word got out and spread. Folks were bringing clothes, they were bringing food, they were bringing
finances,
money, and just dropping it off. So it was like a makeshift shelter, and it exploded. So he approached me, and he said, I know you guys, because I had a gospel group at the time. He says, I know you guys are singing all over, but you really need to focus on what's going on here with this homeless thing. And he asked me, do you think you could write a song to kind of help spur the movement? I went home, Jackie, and in 24 hours, God gave me the words, the lyrics, and the music to that song. And I came back and I said, here it is. And he found the financing for it. We went in the studio and we recorded that album. And
we had one of the brothers from the church join in on the effort. His name was Bob Trapp. Yeah, and then we got with Harold Bryant and Bamboo Records. And so that's how it came about. But we addressed that issue with that.
I didn't get the name of the church. What was the name of the church and your father's name again?
First Universe Baptist Church, Pastor James L. Brice.
Okay.
Yeah, he just passed away this year in February. But we had a great movement and continue to carry on that. And we also had Jesse Jackson to come in to do a rally with us. I don't know if people remember Umoja. They would kind of join forces, kind of like the Black Lives Matter back in the day for Oakland. Umoja was there, as well as Mitch Snyder came in. He was the national advocate for the homeless all across the United States. And he came in and we did a sleep out, like out in the street to show that the homeless don't have anywhere to sleep.
Wow.
So that was a great movement,
That was progressive. My condolences in your father's passing and everything.
Thank you.
He obviously left a great legacy, not only in music, but in spirit, to be able to try to help the homeless, to be at the forerunning of that is just remarkable. So congratulations to carrying on that great legacy and everything in the project you have. So
Can you see this?
I
Can you see
can't,
this?
it doesn't work because it basically, because of the background and the white takes you out for whatever reason. It's just for a degree. But what I can, what we can do is just, you know, maybe refer people to your website if you don't mind, and they can get more information as well.
So all I was going to add was that this was right around the same time they were doing We Are the World, Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, Stevie Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
So they were doing We Are the World, and so ours was We Are Oakland. We have issues right here we need to deal with. And so actually, quite ironically, I actually had an audience with Quincy Jones, and I was going to show you his signature. He had signed off on the album, and we met him. I don't know if you remember the Circle Star Theater back in the day.
You know, I'm not, I didn't grow up in the Bay Area, but I heard the name of it. I moved here in about 1990, so yeah, I certainly heard of it and everything. But you know, you've got your friends there, and I must say, let the audience know that I did ask about social distancing and everything.
Oh yeah.
What was your response? Because see, I've got my mask ready to go.
That's a nice one.
My response is we are all family.
We are family.
Yeah, we're all under one roof.
Wow.
So we're clear. We're COVID clear.
Okay. Just want to reassure some hearts out there when they start looking at the this video and everything. So, you know, you've got your friends with you. You've got Rhonda is, you know, Dewanna is over there to the side. I'm not seeing her too much. Come on in there, girl. Hey, let us see you.
You're being shy.
Okay. So what are y'all gonna do? I mean, I was expecting to talk to Grady, and he said, I got my BFFs with me. And I said, all right, that's what San Francisco Black Film Festival is all about. So what are you doing?
Yeah, so as you know, we released coming from Let's Come Together. That was the start of my career. Then I did the children's project, and recently I released Hands Up, dealing with the whole, it's an anthem for justice, peace, and submission unto God. So of course there's the original recording, and we'll touch on that later, but we're just gonna do a rearrangement of that track just right here in my little home office studio, and just to give you a little feel of the song. And now everybody always relate Hands Up to the Michael Brown, but the hands up we're talking about is worship to God and getting our hands. We've been lifting our hands way before Michael Brown. Since the beginning of time, men have been lifting their hands in worship to God. So that's the Hands Up we're referring to. Okay. Hands Up. Okay.
And also, this is available on
iTunes.
The original one. Myself and Lynette Hawkins Stevens, who is one of the Hawkins. That is their baby sister, Lynette. Yeah.
I'm going to
she sang the original track.
Before we get off the line, I'm hoping that I can find that, and we're going to play that as well. But see, I love Black people. Because see, they were creative. See, I asked to interview Grady, the music producer, and what he brings in his best friends. So I love it. We're always creating and changing things up.
Exactly.
We always take things to another level. I love Black people. And so we're gonna let's let you have the floor and go ahead and do what you do with.
All right. Hands up. Hands up. Everybody get their hands up.
Get ready.
Here we go. I'm going to slide to the right, and the water's going to move in. And the water
to the right.
All right. Yes, indeed. Here she is, Dewanna Dunn.
Yes,
right, lady.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now's the time that we've got to look to the Lord Jesus Christ for the answers in this world today, because there's so much going on. But Jesus is the your hands up. As we give him the praise and we bless him. Hands up. Hey, hey. Hands lifted high. Got your hands up right now. As we give him the praise and we bless him. Our mothers are crying. Our children are crying. Hey. Our sons and our brothers are lying in that cold grave. Lord, if you hear us, thank you for sending your spirit to comfort our mother and take away all the pain. There's no peace in the message, no one to protect us. We pray for deliverance and healing in our land. Hey, with the Red Sea and state and railroad in pursuit, there's no way we can make it without direction from you. Hands up, hey, 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 with the hands lifted high, hands up, hey, right now, hey, just give him the praise and we bless him. Hands up, hey, 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 with the hands lifted high, hands up, right now, as we give him the praise and we bless him. Calling out to you, hey, hallelujah, hallelujah, hands up, right now, hey, as we give him the praise and we bless him, hands up, hey, hey, hallelujah, hallelujah, hey, 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 hallelujah, hallelujah, we're calling out to you, cause we don't know what to do, hey, we're calling on your name, to receive a change, we know it's not us through, all bended knees, hey, saying, Lord, help us please, yes, and with outstretched hands, say, give us peace, calling out to you, cause we don't know what to do, know what to do, calling on your name, say, give us peace, all bended knees, hey, and Lord, help us please, and with outstretched hands, oh, yeah, hallelujah, Jesus, we don't know what to do, hallelujah, we need a change, change the heart, hey, change the mind, change the spirit, yeah, yeah, change the heart, change the heart, change the mind, change the spirit, yeah, change the heart, change the mind, change the spirit, yeah, change the heart, change the mind, change the spirit, yeah,
Hands up. Woo! Hands up for applause. Wow. Wow. Thank you for that energy. Like I said, that's why I love Black people. They will on a dime. I call that dump your foot and sing.
Yes. Hands up.
Yes.
Come on, let's give God praise.
So basically, you know, the creativity that produces that spontaneity, that what you guys just did, and the actual recording too, that I hope we'll have time to play as well, Grady. Where does that come from?
The inspiration actually is a gift from God. Now this is amazing. My father is a pastor of a what they call Pentecostal church.
Church of God in Christ.
Yeah, and I had my career set on playing for the NBA because I was in middle school. I was about 6. Right now, I'm about 6'2", so I was like 5'11", 6 feet in middle school. I was like the tallest kid, so I thought I was going to be the next Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and that's where my focus was. But God said different. My father was a pastor, and our musician, Mr. Greg Pickens, went off to the Army. And he got called in. I think they were doing the draft. Yeah, they were doing the draft back then. You remember? So they got drafted. We needed a musician, and my dad, Jackie, laid hands on me and prayed for me and had the church come around and gather around me and pray that I would get the gift of music. And within 1 year, I was playing for the church. I was playing for the choir, all the services. Put the basketball down, never picked it up again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Am I understanding this? You mean to tell me you weren't playing music, and then when your father prayed for you within a year, you got the gift of music? Wow.
All right.
And then he went on to go to music school for 6 months, and then after that he picked the books up and he taught himself theory, which is just like a miracle. And he can read and write music, and of course he's producing, but it's hard, you know, a lot of church musicians play by ear, but Grady knows how to play by ear as well as reading music and reading deep pieces, anthems and things like that.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to change my prayer life a little bit. I want to carry a tune, you know.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Gracious alive. I've never heard a story like that before.
Yeah.
You know. Never.
So that's the gift. That's the gift my Father and the Holy Spirit put in me, Jackie. And so when I look at issues that are going on in life, God just gives me the right words and the right message to say. And I know that a lot of times the focus is vertical. A lot of our Christian music is focused on, you know, worshiping. But I can't ignore what's happening in the world around us. I can't be so heavenly bound that I'm no earthly good. So when it comes to songs like Let's Come Together from the Homeless, they just flow out of me. When it comes to Pray for the Children, looking at the children's issues and molestation and abuse, I take my pen and go to the keyboard and the songs just flow, hands up. And we'll get to that. There's a story behind that later. But the music just flows. It's effortless.
It's a gift.
So, in terms of your music, what genre would you call it? It doesn't sound like gospel. So, would you categorize it as gospel? How would you categorize it?
It is gospel, but not limited to. As Rhonda said, when I started studying and going to school, and my influence was jazz musicians, Quincy Jones, Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea. That's the music that Joe Sample. That's the music I heard that I was attracted to. So I borrowed from that. And I just put it into a Christian vehicle, basically. So it's gospel, but with a jazz overtone, heavy jazz overtone. Basically.
They call it improvisational, kind of
alternative.
Yeah, alternative. So it's inspirational. Maybe that's the genre you want to kind of put in, that inspirational jazz. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I guess, you know, when I think about it, you know, that just like that Psalm, I think it's in Psalm that says the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. So with that, it would be perfectly sensible that you would pull from jazz and any other genre, which God has created man to have the ability to accomplish. So I guess that makes sense after all, you know.
That's what God wants us to do. He said, be the light of the world. That means that we don't just stay behind the four walls. We have more people in need outside of the church, or as many outside of the church as we do in the church. So we have to make sure that we're reaching into all markets and all genres, and, you know, taking every mountain, arts, you know, all those things to communicate God's message. Because Jesus was like this. He didn't just stay in the church. He was an exterior messenger. Yeah.
And look at that song, "Oh Happy Day," Edwin Hawkins. What he did was put a little samba and a little jazz feel to that out of the traditional gospel format, you know, the 1-4-5 chords, and that song just went all over the world.
All over the world. The Hawkins family, they're known all over the world. And that was played on, I think that was the beginning of having gospel music to actually play on the regular secular.
Crossover.
Yeah, exactly. I happened to be in Georgia at the time, listening to those things and bebopping my head to and everything, and it was just really great, and I think it opened the doors for others to have crossovers as well. You know, I think about Amy Grant and the work that she had done, and it all started with the Hawkins family, as I remember. You know, but of course, you know, over the years there have been a lot of consideration for gospel singers such as Mahalia Jackson. Everybody loved her, and you just see her all over the place. And I know, looking at some old clips, I saw her with Louis Armstrong, who was by no means gospel, performing with him and everything at
Duke Ellington. And Duke Ellington.
Exactly. So music is music, and I think it's universal, and people enjoy something that has a good beat, has a good sound. I'm more of a lyrics person. I try to pay attention to the words more so than the beat. And so consequently that makes it quite interesting for me at times. But, you know, with you having that variety of experience, Grady, and Rhonda, you and Dewanna can jump in there too, you know, in terms of some of the celebrities maybe that you guys have worked with over the years, or any insights or stories about that you want to share?
You go ahead.
We are the celebrities, right?
One person, they just did a movie on the Clark sisters. So Karen Clark, we were in a concert with her in San Francisco for some friends of ours, and that was way back when Karen was kind of beginning. So that was a great treat. Shirley Caesar, basically every time she comes here to the city, if she comes here and she has this section in her concert, she calls for people out of the audience, so I go up and sing with her. So I'm known as the little Shirley Caesar out here in the Bay Area. So that's some big shoes to fill. Yeah,
Great.
So what Rhonda is reflecting on is that first record you played. I had formulated a group. So chronologically, got the gift of music, started writing songs and producing music. And so I put together my first gospel group. Rhonda was at that first rehearsal, and along with a couple of other singers. So that group was so phenomenal with there. As you've heard, these two, there's just two people. Add another 3 or 4, it blow you away.
Exactly.
So we had four singers. So like Rhonda said, everybody, artists that would come to town, from the Williams brothers, Yolanda Adams, the Clark sisters, who else was it? Clark, Timothy Wright, Dr. Bobby Jones. Most of the artists that came to town, we opened up. Our group would open up for them. So you call, you know, that would be our past. As far as recording, that very first record was Dorothy Morrison. We talked about Oh Happy Day on that Let's Come Together record. That was Dorothy Morrison that recorded that with us, that record with us. Right there.
It's So Happy Day.
So Happy Day.
Oh, Happy Day. Yes.
She's the original vocalist on that. Yeah.
That was very powerful. But, you know, you have a new release that's out, and I just want to take a moment to you know, look at that new release that you have. And we're going to share that if I can get that out. Let's see here. That is, here we are. Pray for the Children is the piece. So let's take a look at this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Train them well so they can lead the way. We must teach them never lose the pride in who they are. So fragile, yet so invincible. Who could ones set as an example, like into the kingdom of God. Although we may never know exactly what the future holds, there's one thing we can be assured: if we go down on our knees, He will hear us when we pray. We all pray for the children. One day the Father's love they will come to know in His own loving way. They'll never walk alone. Never walk alone. Never walk alone. Love is key. Open your heart's door. And with them, we must communicate. We must respond.
I can love it and share. All right.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What was the motivation for that particular song?
Well, we always hear the expression, Jackie, the children are the future. We heard that growing up, children are the future. What does that future look like? What type of future are we leaving for our children? So God inspired me to write that song. Now that young man, I don't know if you saw him all the way through, that was my son, who at the time was just a teenager. And when I wrote the song, I just had a daughter, one child at the time. But since we went into production with the video and everything, I've 3 children and a grandson. I mean, a grandson, yeah.
Not a granddaughter.
Congratulations.
Grandson. Yes.
Grandson. Israel.
Yeah, because I think it's Psalm 127 that says that children are a reward from God.
Yeah.
And I just wish more people got the message for this song. Now, how can people have access to that new release and other songs that you have, Grady?
So you can go, there's a link, CD Baby, iTunes, Spotify, all digital platforms. And the videos you can find on my YouTube channel. Got my own channel with all of those videos posted. Grady L. Harris, I think that's the, you got to put the L in there, Grady L. Harris on YouTube. Grey Hare Productions, Grey Hare Pros is the website, greyharepros.com.
Great.
Well,
and Jackie, can I say another inspiration for that song was with this current issue that we're being challenged with, the child trafficking situations that are going on. You know what I'm saying? And so we really want to get into that world and make a difference. And we know that if people would pray, God said, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven. I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land. So we want to really get into that. We didn't know back in the day when the kids were being put on the carton of milk how far this was going to go, but it has just gotten more evil and more, you know, worse for families and everybody. And now kids are being extracted right out of their parents' arms, you know, and taken in. So that's one of the main issues that we want to address, that child trafficking situation.
That is, you know, it's really a very important message that to care for your children and everything, because at this point in time, you know, sometimes I think the world is moving around so fast and people are so interested in acquiring things that they don't understand and realize the value of the people that they have, you know, available to make all the difference. And one of the things that I think the benefit of the whole pandemic and sheltering in place is that, you know, all we have is each other. And if we don't learn that in this situation, I certainly don't know what we'll learn. And as I said earlier, the San Francisco Black Film Festival, of course, is not a religious organization, but I did start off the top with these very ancient words from Psalm 19. And that's, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. And one of the reasons that was impressed upon my heart is because of the wonderful music that you have, and it just inspired me. And if this time when we are facing something like we have never faced before, if we don't take time to pause and consider the Creator, when will we? Because I think the meditation of your heart, you know, because out of the heart, that's where all of our actions come from. And if the heart is right, we won't be having some of the police brutality that we experience. You know, that, you know, terrible situation on Memorial Day of all days, that wouldn't have happened with George Floyd if there had been some consideration of what does God think, what does God have to say. And so I really commend you on the music and everything that you do. And I was just wondering, are there any other experiences or inspirations around your work that you guys want to talk about? And Dewanna, Dunn, hello, Lena and Lady. Let's hear from you. Oh, she's gone. She's okay. All right, Dewanna.
She has two boys, two wonderful sons that are entering. One just graduated from high school, and another one is coming on along. And she's a fantastic single mother, and she's been phenomenal as a mother. I've watched her life. I've watched how she, you know, got the children, first of all, and then to having had them and then raising them basically as a single mother. So there are two men, two black men, and she's raising some excellent young men. So
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Now let's add this. With that children's project, you play the single from that project, which is Pray for the Children. It's actually a trilogy where it's Pray for the Children, also the Children's Prayer, which features Rhonda and Lawrence Matthews. And then there's the prayer. There's another video that we put out called The Prayer, which features several Bay Area pastors.
I saw that, and I was trying to locate it, but I couldn't, Grady, but so it's an actual prayer that's involved. How can people Google that and find that?
Yeah, so if you put in the prayer, it's on the channel. We just released that on Father's Day, actually, that video. And that features several Bay Area pastors. If I can remember some of them,
my brother, Victor Brice.
Pastor Victor Brice.
Rhonda Reams.
Center of Hope.
Ross Garrison. So a lot of the pastors from the Bay Area came in and lent their voice, and they prayed intensely for the children. It was very, very touching, the prayers that they prayed, and they prayed from their heart. And I believe it reached hearts of people too.
And that's very unique, Jackie. I don't know of any other recording out there that just has prayers. We have the music in the background playing, but on top of that, I toned down the singing. I wanted to pull back, and I said, we just need prayers. We need to pray for the children. So I want some prayers. And so that's where these ministers came into the studio, and I just told them the subject, we're praying for the children. And they came in prepared with their iPads. They actually had a little sermonette.
Yeah.
And I had to edit. Cut.
They were ready to go.
You know, they were ready to preach.
Yeah. They came with the fire. They came with the fire.
That's
very good. Yeah. Women and men. Women and different races.
Different nationalities.
Yeah.
Great. Well, you're going to have to send me the link to it, because when I do the write-up for this particular piece, I would like to add that in on it and everything, so that people can at least look that up.
Okay.
And it's like I saw Hands Up, the production of it, and I am going to share that if you don't mind. Is there any intro, or do you want to talk a little bit about Hands Up after we take a look at it?
So the intro is, of course, we saw what was going on with the social justice and the killings of our Black brothers and police brutality. And I was approached initially by, Rhonda mentioned Shirley Caesar, and it was her manager, because some of the gospel artists wanted to do a project to address these issues. And there's not that really that many projects out there from secular or the Christian community talking about this whole, these riots and all this stuff. It hasn't. So I was approached to write something to submit to Shirley Caesar dealing with that. And I went into church and shut in and just got on my knees and prayed, and God gave me the words to that song. Hands Up. We presented it to Shirley Caesar, and she moved on with something else. There was several writers. And everyone around me just said, you need to release that song. You need to do it yourself. And so I went in the studio and put the finances together, and we put it together, and we were just about complete with Rhonda, Asian man, who's doing some of the rap on there. And we were ready to mix, and God told me one morning, it's not done yet. And I'm like, what are you saying, Lord? He said, we need that voice crying in the wilderness, and that voice. And I said, who is that person? And God told me that's Lynette Hawkins Stevens. And she hadn't sang in a few years on any project. Well, she hadn't sang since her brother Walter passed. You remember that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right. And so she had considered herself in retirement, because after that relationship between her and Walter was so close.
Exactly.
And so she felt like she could never work, record with anybody. But I approached her husband, Reggie Stevens, who was creative consultant, and he let her hear it, and she called me within a day or so. and we went into the studio, and the rest is history.
And it was really an honor to have her there. I would hear her sing, and I would just hear Walter. You know, it was just surreal. It was just such a blessing and an honor for me to be singing, you know, with Lynette. That was a treat.
Well, let's let the audience take a look at it, and also to also hear that sound.
Okay.
So here we go.
Bless ye Jehovah, all ye servants of Jehovah, that by night stand in the house of Jehovah. Lift up your hands to the sanctuary, and bless ye Jehovah. Jehovah bless thee out of Zion, even he that made heaven and earth. God, we look to you, God's children, hands up. As we give him the praise and we bless his name. Don't shoot with our hands lifted high. God, we look to you, God's children, hands up. Right now, as we give him the praise and we bless his name. Our brothers are dying, and our children are crying. Our sons and our fathers are lying in a cold grave. Oh Lord, if you hear us, send us your spirit to comfort our mothers, take away all of the pain. No protect us. We pray for deliverance and healing in the land. With the rest in you, they're all pursued. There's no way we can make it. Don't shoot with our hands lifted high. We stand with our brothers. No more blood, no more violence, no more hatred or fight. We must stand. Help us. If we are serious about we can't do it without you. I don't have to help the police. We lift our hands to you because we need you. Because we need you.
Wow, that's very powerful, very powerful.
I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed. We shot that at like 2 to 3 different grave sites, graveyards.
Wow, wow.
We
You
want
know, the thought I had when I saw the graveyards was to have Lynette and Rhonda singing from there. It was kind of like the voice in the wilderness.
Yes.
And you know, crying at the precipice of the worst thing that could happen to human life. And so that's what that image brought up for me. And everything. It was a lot of powerful visuals, very powerful visuals.
Yeah. Now, what you didn't know was, as powerful as Rhonda was, her and Lynette, those two powerhouses, Rhonda had just recovered from a stroke, Jackie, when she did that recording right there. About how many months after that stroke?
About 20 months, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And that was the first thing she recorded after recovering from that stroke.
Yes. Hallelujah. Hands up.
I'm still here. Praise the Lord.
I'm still here, Lord.
I guess that would be motivation for you to overcome a stroke, and you really put life to those words and everything. So, you know, it's really been great talking to you guys, all the inspiration, you know, finding out a little bit about you in terms of some of the great people you've worked with, finding out about your lives. I think the testimony that you mentioned of Dewanna and her 2 sons as a single mother. This song is, I'm sure, very important and has a place in her heart. But it's great to hear these stories of victories and the things that God has done in your lives. So I really commend you and everything. Is there anything I haven't asked that you think you should be talking about before we end here?
Dewanna, come on.
I don't have anything to add.
She's a wonderful lady. That's what I got to say.
All right, they're giving you the platform, Ms. Dewanna. Come on, take it for. We got a few minutes left.
Go ahead, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just happy to be here. Happy to be a part with Grady and Rhonda and the group and singing and just sharing the gift that God has put in us. And it's fun. We have a lot of good times, and you know, God is good. He is good, and you know, that's pretty much all I have to say in this moment.
Well, I am honed in there just a little bit. I guess we know who the shy one is. Here you are singing on stage and blasting out these gospels, but then you're not saying nothing. What is with that?
That's a single mom.
When we were practicing, Jackie, and I was in another room, and we call her Nana because my little baby girl couldn't say Dewanna, so she started calling her Nana. So she was a Nana when she was 30 or something
Yeah.
And so I was listening to her sing, and I was like, my God, Nana, woo, that sounds good to me. That sounds good to me. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, I am so glad that we chatted here at Live Talk at SFBFF. I really so appreciate it. You know, this is the first year that the festival had to go all virtual. And usually we would have talkbacks like this in the theater with people and everything else. But with COVID-19, we had to really readjust. And I really want to commend Callie O'Ray for the great work that he's done of putting up, he's got like 200 films up at www.sfbff.org. So check it out and everything. And we're looking forward to uploading one of your videos as well. So just a lot of great things that's happening. And it's so wonderful that we have an opportunity to talk about the emerging artists, the established artists, and all the great friends that we've had at the San Francisco Black Film Festival. And I think it's going to be Friday night. We're going to finalize things, but I think we've got a great live at SFBFF, live talk at SFBFF with Kelda Music. She is going to be coming up. She's got a short film, and she's been doing a lot of rapping, a young lady rapping for a number of years. So we're giving that platform to everyone. So thank you for joining us. And if there's any last moment words you'd like to say.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Jackie. This has been amazing, especially for me, you know, stepping into this stuff. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys are so welcome. And I really thank the San Francisco Black Film Festival and the co-directors, Callie O'Ray and Katera Crossley, for allowing me to have this platform to share with people what's going on, grassroots efforts, and then also celebrity-wise as well. So thank you for your time. God bless you. And you really made it one of those days where this is the day the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it, because it was wonderful to hear that joyful noise that you all did today, and to be creative on the spot. I love Black people. Like I said earlier, we take it all to a whole nother level, creative in the moment. So thank you, everybody. Great. And thank you for the audience that joined us today. And thank you for those who will be viewing this recording. Keep SFBFF in mind. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Jackie,
We love you.
Jackie,
yes.
Let's add, Rhonda has a new project. How are we going to forget about that? How are you going to forget about that? New release just came out about a week ago. What's it called?
Spirit and Truth. Spirit and Truth. On all the digital platforms as well. Rhonda, Brice, Spirit and Truth.
Okay, Rhonda, Brice, Spirit and Truth. I have to put that in the write-up as well. Once again, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
And hey, we love you at San Francisco Film Festival.
All right.